stress and not due to radiation. But when you look at this report very carefully, when you look at this report, there's very little scientific information. Very little. And there's an absence of information. And the absence of information is used to support the idea that there are no effects. Because we have no papers showing that there are effects, there must not be any effects. This is very bad science. It's not science. And for it to be science, you have to make the test. You have to do the research. And it's very difficult to show no effect. It requires a lot of investment, a lot of research, to show that there are very small or no effects. And this had not been done in Chernobyl, and it certainly had not been done with respect to the plants and animals. And so this was the reason that we started doing the work that we did. This provided some incentive for us.
What organization development that info?
International Atomic Energy Agency. It's a United Nations agency that's responsible for the non-military use of nuclear energy. And let's see, I think that's it on that slide. And this is, again, you can't see this, but this is just the list of our publications just for Chernobyl and Fukushima, more than 50 now, almost 60. And I just show it because most of what I will talk about today has been published in scientific journals, good scientific journals, most of them, and which means they have been reviewed by other scientists. So not just talked about, it's not just in the newspapers. This is a scientific publication. And I think it's important, if you are to assess the validity of a statement by a scientist, if you hear the newspaper, or you read the newspaper, or you hear on television, scientist reports something, find out if it's been published in a scientific journal. Because this is what distinguishes science to get the money to do the research and no ability to get the permission to enter the zone.
How about
Sorry?
Not about Yamashina.
So we moved ahead. We did the best we could. I took money from my own personal wallet to pay for it, and because it had to be done right away. And then 2012, last year, we managed to start doing some work in Minamisoma and parts of Namiya, where we could get some permission, and we did some work on the barn swallows. And then this year we did, with some help from journalists and interested people, we managed to get into all areas. We managed to drive right to the gates of the reactor. So we saw all areas of very high contamination. And so, sort of we did our work in these areas. And you've all seen these pictures. It's not very nice. And there are a few birds here and there, but not so many.
Where is it?
This is Futaba.
After.
Yeah, it's downtown Futaba. We found 2 pairs of barred swallows nesting right here. And there's 2 of them here. And there were another, I think 3 or 4 of them down at the other end of the road. This area right here was not so highly contaminated. Down there is a little bit more. And of course with barn swallows, one of the advantages to barn swallows is that they make these big nests. And you can see whether there's a nest. It will be there for sometimes many years, sometimes 30 years, if it's well built. And even if the nest falls off, you will see the mud on the building for a long time. So you can tell that there's been a barn swallow there for many, many years. And you can go and look at these nests and check if it's fresh mud. You can see if there's activity. And when you do this, which we did for Namiya, Futaba, Kuma, and then Minamisoma, and Kashima, which is part of Minamisoma to the north side, you find that the activity, the frequency, the proportion of nests that have some activity is very low in these areas of